Well, good morning, everybody. Am I on? Okay, I can't hear myself, so that's not a bad thing. That just means I'm not that loud. Well, good morning, everybody who's here, both in our sanctuary and to anybody who's watching us online. We are a welcoming religious community, and we are so glad you are here. We are so excited today. We have so many visitors and returning friends and new folks and old folks and folks who aren't old but have been here a while and everybody in between. So as soon as I said old folks, I'm like, ooh, I shouldn't have said that. I hope that you'll take some time today to reach out to somebody that you don't know as well and just offer them a welcome full of our hospitality today. We want to welcome everyone this morning to our home of comfort, spirit, justice, and hope, for we are Unitarian Universalists. An important ritual in our Unitarian Universalist faith is the lighting of our chalice. We have many different interpretations of our flaming chalice, including the light of reason, the warmth of community, and perhaps what is most important this week, the flame of hope. As an expression of leadership in the community, our children are helping us out with this, and this week, Haley is going to come forward and help us with our chalice. So whether you are here or elsewhere, I invite you to take your chalice, your candle, or whatever you have handy, and light it now as we all join in saying our unison words projected on our screen. We light this chalice as a symbol that we may make wise decisions for our future together, creating a beloved community in whatever space we choose together. Will you join me as you're willing and able in a spirit of prayer and meditation? Spirit of beloved community, we've gathered today to make a momentous decision in the life of our congregation. And so we turn to you, that still small voice that guides us to be our best selves. That calm place deep inside, where holy wisdom and blessed humor dwells. that awe-inspiring presence that we only find when we let our minds and emotions grow quiet. May we all work together in this moment, trusting each other and the divine love that is here among us to guide us to what is right for us, for now and for our future. Amen, and blessed be. It is a joyful thing, and I mean that truly to the absolute bottom of my heart. A church with no children is a church with no future. It is a church that has forgotten what church is about. To me, children are both our future and our right now. And so I just invite you, whether you are a child or a child at heart, to greet someone now during our welcome moment that you don't know, whether somebody who's newer to the congregation or just somebody you haven't had a chance to say hi to as much. And then we're going to begin to sing our first hymn, number 131, Love Will Guide Us. So it's a tradition here at the Metro East UU congregation to place each of our services within the larger values that we as a Unitarian Universalist Association hold dear. This week, we're lifting up the values of justice, transformation, and equity. Justice, defined in our new Article 2 language, has the goal of diverse, multicultural, beloved communities where all thrive. To do this, we must covenant to dismantle racism and all forms of systemic oppression, to use inclusive democratic processes to make decisions within our congregations, our associations, and society at large. This is why today we will discuss and vote on which plot of land we think works best for the future of our congregation. not just for who we are today, but also for all those we want to welcome. Not just for the able-bodied, but for those who need assistance getting in the building. From the literal ground up, we have decided to be inclusive of all mobility levels, helping all mobility types thrive, and that has been a guiding force for this congregation from the beginning of this process, going way back, many years even before my tenure, to the vote and the thinking that led us to Lee Bolton. Transformation reminds us that this is not the end of the process. It is just a beginning. Our value of transformation says that we adapt to the changing world. You know, that is a hard thing, that constant adaptation. The change is where we are today and what we need for now, but it is not the only change for all time. It would be fantastic for me to say that we're going to pick a spot and that will be where this church will be for the next 150 years. But I cannot guarantee that. Climate change, political change, demographic change, all of these are forces that are at work that are way bigger than we are. So whatever decision we make today, we're doing so in faith, knowing that it is a decision that is right for today with the very best hopes and dreams for our future, but also knowing that we will have to continue to adapt and that that is okay because we are a people who embrace change. Finally, the value of equity teaches us that every single person has the right to flourish with inherent dignity and worthiness. Every person here now and every person who comes through our doors in the years to come. This is why, in faith and with hope, we will pick a plot of land knowing that any of the ones presented today can work. I want you to really hear that because the whole theme for today in this service is that even if the one you want isn't the one that's chosen, they all have potential. Any of these can be our home. You know, for folks that have lived or traveled around the world, we can tell you that people live in an extreme amount of situations. You know, human beings are pretty amazing animals. We have adapted to live in the polar Arctic. We have adapted to live in 125-degree heat. In certain parts of our planet this year, thanks to climate change, it was 140 degrees. And yet human beings managed to live in these temperatures. How did this happen? Because we continue to adapt and change. So I feel like if we can adapt to those kinds of extremes, our congregation here has the capacity to adapt no matter which piece of land we pick. In the end, what matters more than which plot or another we pick is the time and energy that we as a congregation put into the other half of the equity statement. The idea that we covenant together to use our time, our wisdom, our attention, and our money to build and sustain fully accessible and inclusive communities. Where we go, what style of building we'll build on that land, which municipality we do this on, is not necessarily as important as that we do the work every day of showing up, of being loving, of embracing change, and celebrating the worthy and important awesomeness of everyone who is here. Amen, and blessed be. As part of our weekly worship service, we take time to express our joys, our concerns, and sorrows. For us, this is a place where we can come together and admit what is weighing us down, what fills us with joy, and the things that are both at the same time. For anyone who wants to come forward today to recognize a joy, sorrow, or milestone, we invite you to come down, take a stone or many, although we are running a little low. It's been a rough month. Put them in the bowl and then process back. Anyone who has a mobility challenge or just is not able to get up for any reason, all you have to do is to raise your hand, and others are happy to take a stone and place it for you. I am going to be placing a stone today for the future of our country because I know that all of us here are living in gut-wrenching terror of what's going to happen in the days and weeks to come. The UUA is providing resources, and I'll be sending out a special email about that so that we can all gather with other UUs, no matter what the outcome is, but especially if it is not the one that we want, so that we can all get together and just live in that kind of, oh God, together. So no matter what happens, we are here, we are in community, we love each other, and we have this safe space. Knowing those things, I invite you to come forward now or to raise your hand and come forward in spirit. Let us be in a spirit of prayer and meditation. So as we know, this week is a week of very big decisions, both here in our congregation and across the country. So I decided that for children's time, rather than a heavy banned book kind of thing, we would do something a little lighter. So here is a president that I think we can all get behind. Alex?
People, you know what time it is? Decision time. So, you got a decision to make. Don't worry. You make decisions all the time. Like what to eat, what to buy, what to wear, how to spend your time, who to spend your time with, what you're gonna say, how you're gonna say it, whether or not you put on the dinosaur costume and escape from town. Hey, it's an option, and I'm proud of it. Researchers found this. We make thousands of choices each day. Thousands of them. In fact, the more responsibilities that you have, the more choices you have to make. There's options all up in your face all the time. And on top of all this, with each choice comes a consequence. Every choice that you make leads to something good or not so good. Like that old saying, everything happens for a reason. Sometimes that reason is you ate a whole roll of Oreos in one sitting. If you excuse me, I gotta take a break. Okay, I'm back. Ugh, that's a bad decision. If you're watching this video, that means you're awesome. Congrats, you're awesome. How will you make awesome choices? Here's a few choices for how you can make choices. You could be impulsive. Don't even think about it. Just mindlessly point, pick, and do whatever. Disclaimer, I don't recommend this choice for making choices. Now you can do it, but it'll lead to mixed results. It's especially dangerous while picking your wardrobe or defusing a bomb. Can't be impulsive then. Another choice you have when making choices: don't do anything. This is a choice to not make any choices, which is a poor choice. Just stand there, wait, do nothing. It's an option, it's always an option. You could say nothing, do nothing, but fair warning, then you'll be nothing. Just saying. Another choice for how you can make a choice. Just be a follower. Yeah, just do what everyone else is doing. When you're a follower, you don't really have to think. It's really simple. Just to look around, see what everyone else is doing. Is everyone just complaining about something? You can do that too. Is everyone doing what everyone else is doing? You can do that too. Is everyone eating an entire row of Oreos in one sitting? Just do that. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm back. I have to make better choices. So being a follower, you can make that choice. It's just a really big problem with that. The world needs you. So how's about this? Focus on being someone worth following. I like that choice. Another choice how you can make your choices: be thoughtful. Warning, this requires thinking. It takes some thought to be thoughtful. But thinking, that's something we should do more often. Think about, what do I care about? What's important to me? What kind of world do I want to live in? Do my choices help create that world? I want to live in a world with more dancing. So what do? A little bit of dancing. The choices you make help make the world. All of us together make big choices sometimes too. Like we all try to come together and make a big decision. Like in an election. Who will lead our country? That's a big decision. Whatever happens there's something that you can't forget. Just how powerful you are. There are no small people and there are no small choices. You're making big choices every single day. And they make a big difference. Whether you're president in a big fancy Oval Office, or not the president, or just a cable with a cam phone and some cardboard. Your choices matter on election day and every single day. Real change happens right in your backyard. The little decisions that you think are little, but actually a really big deal. The choices we make our lives. In your life, it's an awesome one. Make the kind of choices that are worthy of that awesome life. I'm gonna make a decision right now. This world needs a little more dancing, so I'm gonna dance right now.
Speaking of awesome, why don't we sing our kids out for Ari this morning? As you journey, may you know, love and hope go with you, love and hope go with you, learn and grow. All right. Our next hymn is in the gray hymnal or on the wall. It's number 123, and I think we're going to go ahead and sing it twice through, if that's okay. again, everyone, and anyone watching remotely. What a day to be in the pulpit. There's nothing really major going on, right? Just a vote to determine the future of our congregation, followed by a vote to determine the future of our country, and basically the future of democracy in America. So no pressure or anything, no need for me to worry about being properly inspirational or getting this right today or anything. And honestly, it's exactly that kind of performance anxiety and stress in the congregation that I actually want to diffuse right away before it kicks our brain into that limbic system takeover, fight or flight situation that we've been talking about. So I found a really cool psychological trick that we're all going to play on ourselves today. Are we ready? What is 7 times 11? Good job. How about 12 times 14? 168. No, I am not a math whiz. I looked it up while I was prepping the sermon. All right, so why the math quiz? Because logical functioning is a prefrontal cortex job. So it is something your limbic system, your fight or flight instincts cannot do. So what they have found is that when a person is getting overwhelmed by their emotions, asking a series of logical questions forces them back up into their prefrontal cortex brain. And it basically shoves the limbic system back down where it belongs, getting your brain back into balance. Kind of neat, huh? Now, it doesn't always work because there are times where a person's cortisol and the adrenaline and everything else are just too high. But it is one more tool in our toolbox for trying to de-escalate a tense situation. So the next time you find yourself in a conversation and you or another person is really feeling that emotional rise happening, maybe, whip a Trivial Pursuit card out and start asking some questions and see what happens. Maybe it's a way of opening the logical door to let your prefrontal cortex back into your conversation. So what is the conversation that we're having? I mean, this week there are two, and they are both big and scary. I'm just going to acknowledge that from the start. Because on the one hand, we're going to have coffee hour, and all of you who are visiting, you are so lucky. You get to go out and have coffee and have fun with everybody else in the congregation, and then you get to leave. So you don't get to have any of the scary stuff, and that is awesome. So you can absolutely come if you want a big, scary discussion. Or, you can hang out and have coffee and relax with us and get to know the friendly, awesome people that are here. And then you can split before the scary stuff happens. It's totally up to you. Or you can dance, right? The world needs more dancing. I am not a dancing person, so I will not inflict that upon you this morning, okay? But the truth is, this is a huge milestone. My first Sunday serving as the minister of what was at the time the First Unitarian Universalist Church, First Unitarian Church. We hadn't stuck the Universalist in there, right? It was the First Unitarian Church in Alton. There were 8 people. And the number one fear that the church had, the board told me, COVID was a big thing, and we'd had video services, and I was a consultant, and people were doing stuff, and they wanted me to do it, and everybody said, we're dying, and we're scared. We don't want to die. Our congregation has been around since 1831, and we don't want to lose it. So that was the big fear in 2020. Well, that's not the fear we have now. Now our big fear is, we've grown out so big, we don't have enough space. What are we going to do? This is a great problem to have, right? But it's still a problem. It reminds me of when parents decide that they want to have another child, and they've gone through all the budget and the figures, and they do all the things, and then you're like, okay, well, we're going to plan for this and that and the other. Babies love it when you make plans. Have you ever found that out? Because the moment you decide that you're going to have a baby in 6 months, it seems like that very next cycle, right? Like that just seems how this is going to work. And the way it tends to happen is as soon as you don't have another bedroom is when the baby is going to be ready to come along. And this is kind of what's happened here because we've moved here and we've had this fantastic growth. Thank you, all of you visitors, all of you new members, all of you returning friends. Thank you. You've made a wonderful problem. We're so excited. But it's scary because now we have to change. And change, by definition, is scary. Do you guys know why I wear the collared shirts? Like, I'm a Jew. Why do I wear these weird Roman clergy colors? It's because I don't have to make a choice on Sunday morning. Like, seriously, that's why. I have 4 of them in my closet, and I just pick the first one off the left and put it on. It's really easy. Exactly. This is why I do this, because this way I don't have to make a choice, because it's like that little bit of stress on Sunday morning, and I just don't need it, right? When I'm already trying to get a 5-year-old in actual clothing and not running stalkers around in the house. I need to, move out the door. So we all understand change is scary, even if it's little things like what shirt am I wearing? And certainly when it's big things, like buying a house. How many of us have ever bought a house? Right. Is it not terrifying? It's absolutely terrifying, and that's what we're doing. So we all know this is a big, scary decision. The other thing that's big and scary about it is we don't have all the money in the world. How many of us have bought a house with all the money in the world? Yeah, exactly. So I'm being honest with you, because that has been, I hope, the hallmark of my ministry in this congregation, is to just be honest and to talk openly and honestly about these things, because there's no sense in sugarcoating it. Reality is what it is. And the more we can just say the things and name the fears, the more we can see that the monster in the closet isn't actually that scary. So we have a limited budget, so we don't want to take on too much debt, right? Because we don't want to drown ourselves. As many people whose homes went underwater in one financial crisis or another can tell you, you don't want to do that. We all agree we're not doing that. But we can't spend so much money on land that we don't have enough for a rainy day. Okay, right. But we also can't save so much for a rainy day that we don't have a building big enough to grow. These are the back and forths that we're going for, right? We get that. It's absolutely no different than when you're buying a house. You're like, we gotta have enough space for, all the people who are sleeping here. But if we want to grow, we gotta have extra space, but we can't buy too big because then we can't afford the payments. This is very simple math in some ways. And all of this is real, and all of it has to be weighted. And thankfully, people who are much better at math than I have done this stuff, because if I did it, I would probably be in that limbic fear-based brain of, oh God, the money. So be very grateful that I'm not allowed to do that. But the other thing that I want to talk about is the spiritual side and the psychological side, which is the fear that we have as a congregation about losing people. Because the vote to leave Alton was hard. Now, many of you here today, as I look around, are new, and you don't remember this, and you don't remember this pain. And so that's a good thing, because that means you're coming in without that trauma, right? But you may have had a difficult time in a different place, right? You may have had buying a house with a spouse, and there was some conflict about it. Or you may remember a time when a house with your spouse that you loved, and then that spouse was no longer your spouse, and you had to sell that house you loved. And so you have that trauma, or et cetera, et cetera. Because home is a concept that is crucial to us as human beings. And it does not matter if it is a tent by the side of the road or if it is a palatial mountain. The idea of home is critical to our psyches. For those of us in this room, we are incredibly scared about what's going to happen on Tuesday. Now, we know for a fact, right, even if our candidate wins, and I'm not assuming that all of you are voting for the same candidate, but even if your candidate wins, I'm going to go with a 98% certainty, but I'm not going to assume. But the thing is that even if our candidate wins, we know there's going to be months and months of fights, right? We know this. We know that we're going to have January 6th the 2nd. We know this is coming. So we're freaked out and we're scared. We're worried about our relatives, at least I am. The people that I care about, that I'm looking at them and I'm going, you're a decent, intelligent, smart human being that we've got a relationship and a history and I love you, and why? And conversely, the funny thing is they're looking at me and they're going, you're a smart, you're an intelligent, you're a reasonable human being. Why? And so that fear and those divides and the bitterness and the trauma and the heartbreak and the worry weighs us so down. And I want to point out one of the things the video said. The option of deciding to not decide is kind of what we did in June. And again, I'm here to tell the plain truths because this is the reality. And it's not a bad thing that we paused. Because we did need to dig and we did need to be absolutely sure. And the board did. There were endless meetings. And when I say endless, I mean endless. Daily updates from brokers, from dealers, people looking on every website, people going around in the community, people just doing drive-bys, people sending us emails and picking up flyers and doing all the things, which is good. We needed that input. Everyone wanted that input because, not all of us live here. And when I say all of us, I mean everybody, me basically lives here. I do not live here. So I needed folks to do that. And when we got all of it together, it was like, cool, we now know what our options are. But here's the problem. We also know that we don't have that option anymore. We don't have the option of not deciding because we're full. Look around, right? How many more people can we actually pack in this space until our visitors look around and say, well, there's no room for me? We are the only congregation in the Metro East that welcomes queer families with open arms. We are the only congregation in the Metro East that welcomes people who are transgender as openly. There's plenty of places where they're like, oh yeah, we welcome gay and lesbian folks, and you start digging a little deeper. You start going, well, what about families like mine? Folks that are poly, folks that are trans, folks that are this, folks that are that, and then you start getting a little pushback. And then you say, well, what about folks who have different opinions on theology, who don't want to believe a certain way, or who don't want to be pushed into a certain box? And then you get a little more pushback. We're the only place who does that, so we need room for every single visitor who walks through our doors to have a seat at the table, because this is the only home in the Metro East. So we have our fears, but we also have our benefits. We are a people who truly has open arms and wants to welcome, but our space is full. Our volunteers are worn out. If you have spent any time setting up and breaking down the signs, putting out the tables and picking them back up and putting out the information, putting it back up and moving these gosh darn pews, they are heavy. They love to try and tear up the carpet. They are absolutely horrific. And the sliders that we have put on 16 times come off 17. I do not know why, but they resist all attempts, no matter what tape, tacks, brads, or other things we put on, they just tear them right back off. So, we're tired. We need to move. We need a place that's ours. The other thing we need? We need a place that can not just be ours, but that can be ours boldly. How many signs could we have that support our amendments? I'm not talking candidates, because we can't do that and be a 501c3, but I'm talking the things we stand for, the amendments that we support, the things that we proclaim, like bodily autonomy. It would sure be nice living on the Missouri side if I could actually have, churches that I could drive by where I wasn't being told that my body does not deserve to be mine. There's 2 of them. And that would be First Church in Kirkwood, right? I've got Elliott and Kirkwood and First Church in Waterman, and the Reformed congregations, and that's it. We need to be able to do that here. And I'm not upset with the Masons. They're non-political. That is their shtick, and we're okay with that. We came in here knowing that. But we are political creatures. We have things we support. We have values we stand for. And so it's time for us to have a building where we can be that public-facing presence, where we can invite the people in the way we want them to be, where we can say, we're going to do this. So how can we move forward? We have to make a choice. We're at a precipice. We're on the edge of a cliff. We have to choose. But we also know that when we choose, someone else is going to be upset. And that hurts, and that's hard. How can you vote your conscience, pick a plot that is you truly think is in the best interest of our church, but be worried that your pewmate and your friend and maybe your spouse feels differently? How can you stay somewhere if your plot of land doesn't win the vote? Does this mean that we are forever divided? This is the kind of thing, the light and easy material that I got to make a sermon out of this morning. Logic puzzles and jokes help us break out of limbic mode. But these are serious answers, and I really do want to ask them, because voting our conscience, even if those we love think differently, is a question we are asked every single time we vote, whether it's in this congregation or whether it's at our ballot boxes. How can someone I love possibly vote for a different candidate? How can I love someone when they do? There's a wide variety of answers here, and one of the most common is to demonize the other. We cannot do that. I believe that if you love a person, trying to understand, having that empathy, and our Right Relationships Covenant says that. It says that we are going to assume the other person has the best intentions. Now, this may not be true of your racist uncle, okay? So some of the folks that are not in this building, this may not be true of. But the folks that are here today that are voting on our plots of land, I truly believe, even if they vote differently than you, I absolutely believe they're doing so with the best intentions. I believe that different people come from different backgrounds. Different people have different tolerances for risk. The amount of risk that would make me claw at things and be biting my nails to the quick does not bother my husband in the slightest. We just have different tolerances for that. The kinds of decisions he makes sometimes literally make my white streak in my hair even whiter. So we have to understand that we can have differences and still be united. Sometimes our values are just weighted differently. This doesn't mean that we have different values. Again, I'm not talking about folks outside this building for this one, because there are folks outside this building whose values look nothing like ours, right? But I believe if you are here in this building, if you are voting on this land, that your values are the same. But you might weight them differently. You might truly believe, based on your experiences at church, that the value of prudence in having a rainy day fund is more important than having a bigger building. Someone else might believe that having a bigger building is more important than having a bigger rainy day fund. Both of those are best guesses, because none of us has a crystal ball to see the future. It did not come in my doctoral kit. I'm very upset by that, by the way. And so the thing is we just have to have empathy for each other. We have to be willing to look in the other's eye and say, I trust that you have the best interests at heart. The other thing is that a lot of times we do have to understand that for us, fear is a motivation. Each of us has gone through something in our past, be it this own church and the pain that the move caused, or our own pains with friends and family that are impacting how we think and feel. To the best of our own abilities, we need to take a breath and let that go and try our best to just do what we're doing. What I want you to know is that at the end of the day, no matter which lot you choose or what the reasons are for choosing it, the goal is the same, and the goal will not change. The goal is to have a welcome and accessible church for all the liberal-minded people in the Metro East to find a home. The goal is to create a place where people can come and find found family. For all of those people whose racist uncles and, bigoted friends and family push them out so they don't have somewhere to go. They don't have family to be with. They don't have a community to support them. They can come here. They can be with those who are like them. They can have a family that loves and supports them. That is who we are. That is our community. And that will happen no matter which lot is bought. So hold to that. It's not that your vote doesn't matter, because it does. Democracy is critically important in the work of our congregations. But the truth of the matter is that the goal is the same. And this is where it's different from what's going on Tuesday. Tuesday, there are two radically different views of America, right? One is let's go back to the 50s, or worse, the 1850s, right? Let's be oppressive and hateful and mean and cruel and bigoted and backward. And the other one says, can we please move forward to a world where gender and race and all these other silly things that divide us are in the past, and what matters is how you do and how you act and how you are. But in this community, our vote today is not for one vision of the future or another. That vision is the same. We're just voting for how we're going to express it. So it's like going to the closet and saying, do I want a green or a blue collared shirt today? But the message that's being expressed is the same. I don't even think I have a blue collared shirt, do I? Anyway. But the point is, either way, the expression is the same. Either way, we're going to have a church building that is fully accessible. Either way, we're going to be a place that found family can be made. Either way, we're going to be a place where folks come to truly experience what it means to have a church that is based in love. Here is what we proclaim. We proclaim that love triumphs over hate. We preach that justice happens when folks set aside fear and embraces others. We teach you how to learn to love yourself so that you can also learn to love your neighbor. We celebrate little victories here. We cry with each other in our disappointments. We cheer the wins in people's lives. We eat our potlucks. We drink our coffee. We give hugs and do fundraisers and play games. We crunch the leaves. We meditate and sing and talk and laugh and live and always, always love. We did that in Alton. We do it here, and we will do it in the building on whatever lot we buy, wherever it is found. If your lot pick is chosen today, that's awesome. If your lot pick isn't chosen today, that's fine. Because at the end of the day, it isn't about the land as it is about us keeping our purpose and our values in front of us. We are the liberal, welcoming faith in the Metro East. We are the people who welcome those who question. We are the people who create family for those whose families don't deserve the name. We are the people who love. We love when times are good. We love when things are bad. And I challenge you today to love when the vote goes your way and love when you lose. Long as you remember that the core of your being is love, then anywhere we build will be beloved community. We together will be making a slice of heaven on earth. Let us make that in this Metro East together. Amen and blessed be. Our final hymn is number 67. As Robin passes around our offering baskets, I offer the gentle reminder that our community of faith is supported only by our giving. Stewardship here is more than just financial donations. It's also about donating time and talent. Believe us, we can always put you to work. If you are here for the very first time this morning, though, there is no expectation for you to give. We want our service here to be a gift to you. Please give as you are able, for you are a generous people. Will you join with me now in our offering prayer? May this offering equip us to inspire love and seek justice. All right, announcements, folks?
I just want to say thank you to everybody who showed up at the, thank you. You can tell I'm still tired. The Owl Trivia Night, we actually ended up with 2 tables, not one, because I made a mistake, but we filled up the table, which was awesome. We filled up both of them. So we had a lot of fun, and they raised great money for the Owl Center, and that was really good. If anybody's interested in volunteering, I know they have another training session November 7th in the evening, Thursday night. So I'm hoping I can make it, but I've got some other things kind of going on. So if you want to get involved in doing that sort of thing, that would be awesome. And then Peg, you want to talk about our parade? Come on up. Come on up. Okay, all together now. We will rock you.
Yeah, this was our theme. I'm sure it's in everybody's head, but I will at some point in time put together a little composite that we'll show after the parade routine. And it was delightful. We had a lot of fun. We got a lot of more cowbell from the audience, and it's something that will definitely be repeated. We had a nice 8-pack of people, and we had another 8 that were passing out candy and holding signage. We were together with PFLAG and other people in the community. It was really a patchwork quilt of community, and it was lovely. And you will see, if you didn't get a chance to see it at the parade, we'll show it to you at some point. Oh, we won 2nd place. That's right. And there were not only 2 people to compete. We had
So real quick, for anybody who doesn't know, so Robin was talking about a fundraiser for OWL. That is the overnight warming location. So what that is it is one of the churches in the area is volunteered itself, and we're trying to get it actually as its own thing. But in between now and then, for any person who is unhoused when it reaches a certain temperature, we're opening that in the area, and all of the local churches and a bunch of local individuals are supporting that. And it was a big brouhaha last year because the city was less than helpful, but I think a lot of those barriers have hopefully been overcome, and we're all standing strong in faith and working on helping those of us that need that during the winter. So I just wanted to make sure everybody knew what OWL was, because we also have OWL, which is Our Whole Lives, which is a sexuality program. So I want to make sure we have 2 of those things, both named OWL. So there's that. Right. So the other thing I want to point out, and again, I'll send out emails about this so you guys don't have to really write it down, but November 19th, we're having a statewide gathering. It's a UU the Vote thing, and it's basically, like I said, to process whatever has happened and to either celebrate, mourn, grieve, plan next steps. How do we defend democracy, et cetera, et cetera. So that's going to be a UU the Vote thing that's going on. And the reason that they waited until November the 19th is we all know we're not going to know on Tuesday. There's Illinois. It's for Illinois. Missouri, unfortunately, does not have a UUANI type network. However, I do believe if anyone's in Missouri, if you want to get with me, because we are kind of having a get together with First and Elliot and myself and maybe a couple other people that are going to be just basically showing up and going, ah. So, yeah, that's that. Any? It is scary. So what I encourage you to do is if you live in an area where there is pre-voting, my family was able to get out and vote early, which is good. And I know if you live in St. Louis County, which I know a bunch of us do, you can actually go, they have a live website which tells you what the waiting times are right now. So that's a good thing to know, so you can get in and out quick. All right, we are being told that service is over, so that is, yes. Okay, so yeah. Yep. Yep. All right. So, but yeah, please, everyone, do not forget that your vote matters. And not just on the big stuff, on the little, what seems like little stuff. One of the strategies of the folks who don't share our values has been things like getting local judges and getting local council folks and whatever, because then they can put book bans in place. And then, library boards. Nobody thinks about who's on the library board until all of a sudden they're shutting down the libraries. St. Charles County decided they were going to shut down the 3 most popular libraries because, kids were checking out books about queer people. And we can't have that. So those are the kinds of things that we need to get out, and we need to vote for candidates who support our values. And when we do that, especially in the local elections that nobody else is paying attention to, we can help ensure that our children and ourselves have the ability to have our own values represented. I invite you to join me now as we extinguish our chalice. The light of truth and being cannot be put out. They are the keepers of this flame until we meet again. We are the liberal, welcoming faith in the Metro East. We are the people who welcome those who question. We are the people who create family for those whose families aren't worth the name. We are the people who love. We love when times are good. We love when things are bad. We love when the vote goes our way. We love when we lose. We are Unitarian Universalists, and we know that love is the way. Amen and blessed be.
From the Teal hymnal, We Give Thanks, written by Wendy Perkins and arranged by Susan Peck. This song is really just a celebration of the day that we are experiencing now. We can be thankful for all those who are gathered here. Here it can be home, it can be church, it can even be over Zoom. For any time that we share with those we love and cherish is something for which we can truly give thanks. Now, the hymn in our hymnal has one verse that's repeated, but the composer actually wrote another verse as well, and so I'll be singing that, and then I'll circle back to that first verse again. So it'll actually be 3 verses this time. So join me, or meditate with me, for hymn number 1010, Oh, We Give Thanks. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Oh, we give thanks for the old and young, for a time of wonder, joy and fun, for all we give as we grow and live. Oh, we give thanks for the old and young. We give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here, for those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day.